I'll try not to swear, but sometimes, it just, so we might have to edit that out.
We got to be real. So it's okay. It's all right. So what is things like in Heartland, New Brunswick this morning?
Oh, pretty good. I was just down waxing the truck there. It's raining a little bit outside, but it's nice and cool. So good day for doing some work on the truck.
I saw the post that says it's been clean for a week and it's a record.
Yeah, that's the first time this year that I washed it and made it all week with it still clean.
That means you're a hard working man.
Well, I like to think so, but other people probably disagree.
Oh, come on. Well, Scott, congratulations on winning the photo contest. I look forward to featuring your story in next year's calendar. And we chatted on the phone. We're going to find a way to make that work because I got to get out east this summer somehow. Hopefully COVID will break through the barrier and come out east and we can connect and do a photo shoot somewhere and get to meet in person. That would be awesome.
Yeah, sure would.
You got it. So you've got this beautiful black, purple Western Star. Tell us about your truck.
It's just a 2018 Lomax Western Star glider with an old 60 Series Detroit in it.
Nice. Are you the first owner of it?
Well, it's my boss that I got it. I'm the only one that's ever drove it. I was driving it for another guy, and then I end up buying it myself. Yes.
You got it. So we're going to get into your story, but let's pay tribute because you got a little thing on the side of your truck in memory of Wayne Stewart.
Yeah.
So when you talked about your boss, that was Wayne. And Wayne passed away recently. And so tell us about that story. Let's pay tribute to the man. Because how long did you work for him?
Would have been 10 years in March that I worked for him.
So he obviously treated you horribly.
Oh, yeah. He was a horrible boss.
He's going to come back from the grave.
I can hear him saying bad words to me right now.
So let's just pay tribute to Wayne Stewart. Tell me about him. Tell me about his company. And you've obviously bought his truck. And you have your own legacy, but you're honoring his ongoing. Tell me about Wayne.
Yeah, well, I'd always known who Wayne Stewart was. He's pretty well known from coast to coast pretty well for having fancy gear and everything. He's owned trucks for years, and I went to work for him back in, it would have been, I guess I'm not good with math, but it would have been 10 years ago in March.
Yeah.
And went to work for him, and we developed a good friendship, and I've had a lot of nice rigging. He always looked after me well, and everything. We become good friends. We were better friends than employee and boss for the past 4 or 5 years. So it kind of hit home bad when he passed. But we'd sit a lot of times drinking whiskey, talking about that this truck here. Even when we build it, he said this truck will be yours someday. So when he passed, I said, I guess I better go buy her.
Now's the time. So you've gone from company driver to owner operator.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wayne Stewart, you did good, and we honor your memory today, and we celebrate your friend Scott, and we're going to celebrate him in the calendar, and by that we're going to also celebrate Wayne's memory. But that is awesome. How's that switch been? You've gone from owner operator to company driver, from company driver to owner operator. How's that switch going for you?
Oh, it seems to be, like I say, I've been driving for 17 years, so it's not really that different. A little more responsibility and stuff, but I mean, he'd been training me for this for a long time, so it's not really been that different, really.
It's just like a slightly step on a different sidewalk, and you keep on moving and
That's
going
right,
forward.
Yeah.
So 17 years ago, and you were driving for him for 10, which means you worked for other companies before that. What got you into trucking?
Just ever since I was old enough to talk, I wanted to drive truck like my dad. I always rode around with him any chance I could get, and I always said I was going to drive truck, and he said, "Oh no, you're gonna do something better with your life than that. You're not going to be no truck driver." Anyway, I stuck with her right the whole way up through, and that's all I've ever done. So
you know what? And it's not uncommon, and I laugh at it, but I get angry at it, but because it's not all that common. It's like I want you to do better. And I, this is all about honoring what you do. I mean, there are a ton of people that couldn't do what you do. It's an important job. It's an essential job. And so, in terms of better, truck drivers are some of the best. And you know what? It was kind of cool when you won. I just saw a number of people. You obviously have some fans, because they were quickly on there supporting, happy for you. You know, you said, I may not be good at math, but you built friendships. And when you build friends, you don't have to be good at everything.
That's true. That's true. And I have made a lot of friends in this industry from coast to coast, Canada and US. And that's one of the best parts about it.
Yeah. So tell me, where all do you travel? Where does this truck go? Does the truck have a name? Do you have a nickname for the truck?
Not really. I've always said I should name it, but I don't have a name for the truck. No.
All right. Do you have a nickname?
Billy Bob. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Everybody, I got my big bald head. So from the old movie Varsity Blues, I used to have an old Chevy pickup, just like Billy Bob had in that movie, and that's where my nickname come from.
So Billy Bob, where do you travel?
Mostly the U.S. It's up in a lot of eastern seaboard in the U.S., but I do on occasion run clear across the United States, and then in Canada, just Ontario East.
Okay, that's sweet. Now you're based out of Heartland, New Brunswick.
Yes.
And a cool town that is a transport town, because you've got another major transport company. You said you're about a half a mile away from Day and Ross headquarters in terms of where you are. Were you born there? Is that where you're born and raised?
Yep, just out back here in the woods a few miles, yeah, but I've always been right around Heartland my whole life, yes.
That's awesome. What's the best thing about growing up in Heartland?
Well, just small town, everybody knows everybody. It's just, that's the kind of, I'm not much of a city boy. I like the country, so being in a small town with only 800 or 900 people, you can't go to town without seeing somebody you know, and no traffic jams, none of that stuff.
Yeah. No, that's good. The Maritimes is a special place. I love going,
Sure
whether I'm speaking or whether I'm taking photos. You know what? I haven't had the chance to get out and do a lot of photo shoots of trucks in the Maritimes. I feature a lot of maritime truckers, but I've normally met them in Quebec or in Ontario when they've been there. And so I'm dying to do that. I've got two younger girls. They're entering their teenage years. I've got to get them out to the Maritimes because they need some exposure to, and they're great girls, but everyone needs exposure to maritime hospitality. And
I agree.
Yeah, it's super cool. As a Canadian, I brag about it all the time to everybody that I meet. And I think it's awesome. Where do you think that spirit comes from? Like, what makes Maritimers so cool? Just in terms of being hospitable, reaching out to other people and wanting to help. And where does that come from?
Well, so nobody can seem to figure that out. I think it's just that we're not down here. The population is so dense. You're not overpopulated. You're not always crowded, and everybody just seems to always be in a better, more helpful mood than in other parts of the country.
Nice. So tell me, family. Do you have family? Are you single? Tell me about Billy Bob and his life.
Oh yeah, I'm single. Just trucking's pretty well my life. I pretty well eat, sleep, breathe trucks. That's the scary part. But and my father still drives truck to this day. He's 69 years old, and he's still plugging up and down the road every day. So
that's amazing. What's your dad's name?
Dwayne.
Dwayne. Okay. Dwayne. Yep. Shout out to you. That's cool. We may have to. Does he ever tag along? Have you ever done team with your dad?
We have just the odd little bit, yeah, but see him going the other direction mostly a lot of the time, but that's about it. But he runs across the border too, so do get to run into him some down there and run with him a little bit.
Yeah.
That's where my passion came from. I washed and polished his truck every weekend when I was a kid, and I said, I want to drive a big shiny truck someday. So I guess I'm living my dream.
So if you were doing that for your dad, you were obviously his favorite son.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he's going to leave everything to you 40, 50 years from now. He's got a long ways to go, but 40, 50 years from now, you get the whole kit and caboodle. That's good. So you're driving a Western Star. Is that your choice of, do you love that brand? Are you brand loyal, or it happens to be?
Well, it was my boss was. There's a small dealership in town here, Valley Equipment, and you couldn't count how many trucks and trailers he's bought in his lifetime, or in his lifetime, and every piece of equipment he ever bought came from Valley Equipment. So he was limited when it come time. Like, I had 3 trucks for him, and every time I got to choose what I wanted for a truck, but it had to be something come from there. So it was either a Freightliner or a Western Star. So, okay. And I'd never had a Western Star, so when it come to get a new one the last time. I said, I think I'd like to try a Western Star. So he just said, well, if that's what you want, that's what you'll have. So
Yeah, you know what?
I do love it. That's the first one, but I do like the Western Stars.
Every OEM has their pluses and minuses depending on who you are and what your purpose is and what you're doing. They're kind of fit for certain niches. What do you love about your Western Star?
The main thing, I mean, it's low and everything, but I like being different. I don't like being the same. Like it's a done up Western Star or something like that, or a Freightliner where there's not so many of them going up and down the road stands out more than, I mean, Peterbilts and Kenworths are beautiful trucks, but in an hour driving up the road, you'll meet 50 of them going.
Yeah.
Whereas you take something different and try to make it look good, you'll stand out a lot more. That's what I like being different.
Yes, that's cool. That is awesome. And your Star certainly is beautiful. So that shot on Route 66, when was it taken? The winning photograph?
That was taken in December of 2019 in, I don't remember the name of the town. It was somewhere east of Barstow, just off of 40. Get off there, and the old Route 66 was there, and it was painted in the road. And I'd talked to a guy in Barstow the night before, and then I seen on his Snapchat that he'd taken a picture there. So I messaged him. I said, "Where did you take that? Because I'd like to do that." Yeah. He told me what exit to get off, and the next day when I left, I stopped there and took a bunch too. So it was pretty neat. I like the old story of Route 66 and everything, so it was pretty neat to get that picture.
Well, you know what? It's been a lucky highway for people wanting to be in the Wowtrucks calendar, because Jean-Luc Barc, who went in January, he has a picture on that route as well. So he's got the Route 66, a different angle of the track, but kind of the similar location, and it won. So to anybody that's listening to the show, that is the way that you get into the calendar, is to win our monthly Facebook photo contest. And if you're on Route 66, it seems to be a popular pick. And that's not to diminish in any way. I mean, Jean-Luc has an amazing ride, and so do you, Scott.
Oh, sure does. I know him anyway. So yeah, he has an amazing truck. Yeah.
Cool. I like it. So there's going to be friends in the calendar. That's awesome.
Great.
Who taught you how to drive?
My father. Just from riding around with him and driving the truck around the dooryard on the weekends to wash it and all that stuff. And then when I had my permit, I went with Dad every chance I could get. And then I did have another buddy of mine, but he was on Dan Ross actually for years. A buddy of mine, and he used to help me out a little bit. And
cool.
And yeah. So, but I've been around trucks my whole life, so it was pretty well bred right in me right from a young age.
How many generations in your family? So your dad drove. Did your grandfather drive?
No, my grandfather on my father's side never. My grandfather on my mother's side, he drove some, and then I've got a couple uncles on that side that drive. And well,
perfect. So looking forward, Scott, or Billy Bob, what's in your future? So obviously you've just started this journey as an owner operator. You love what you do, and even though things are kind of changing, you've got that passion for what you do, which is what we honor. That's why we do this calendar. We celebrate people who still take pride in what they do. What's the future look like for you?
Just keep on doing the same, I guess. Keep the truck shiny and up and down the road.
All right. Well, don't stop, my friends. We honor you for what you do.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity and the chance of being in the calendar. I think Wayne would be pretty proud of that if he was still around. So
yeah, I think he's going to stop swearing at you and come down and be proud. And so that's a great way to pay tribute. That's cool.